welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy at the request of Patreon subscriber Claire, and this is Terrageddon. As always, Claire Leagues come with two things. One is a shout out for trans rights, which I will generalize out to just generally leave people alone who aren't hurting anybody. How about that? Bold position to have this day and age. How about mind your business? The other thing that Claire Leagues come with is a series of bounties that, if I do certain things throughout the league, I get rewards for. The bounties in this league are deal lethal damage with a Terrageddon, resolve Armageddon. I don't have to lose the game, but if I resolve Armageddon, that's one. Use endurance to prevent something busted from the graveyard. 5-0 the league is its own bounty, and there is a mini bounty available for any time I beat Oops All Spells or Reanimator. There's a lot on the line here, and this is a brew built around the card Terrageddon. Basically, Claire came to me with, I want to see Terrageddon, and I want to see a deck that is relatively competitive. This day and age, those things are largely incompatible, but I've done my best. And this deck was hard to come to as well. Like, I really wanted to build like a devastating Loam deck with Devastating Dreams, one of my favorite cards to pair with a Terrageddon, but that deck just looks really embarrassing on paper in today's Legacy. I built a Rug Tempo version that had Stifles, and I was still playing Devastating Dreams in there as a one-of, and I had like a Mist Rise Village to make it resolve. That deck just ended up looking kind of clunky and bad. So I tapped into some other decks that exist. There are, of course, shades of Green-White Depths here. There are shades of Maverick here. But most importantly, there are things that are fundamentally solid against what Legacy's about, which is what you need to do first if you're brewing in a format as powerful as Legacy. You have to understand what the format is about, what people are going to be doing, what you need to stop, without just thinking about your own deck and the cards you would like to play. Right now, Legacy is largely about the graveyard, and it happens quickly. For that, we have 4 copies of Endurance in the main. Endurance also lines up quite well against the tempo decks that all play Murktide Regent. They either have Nethergoyf or Dragon's Rage Channeler in them. They're used in the graveyard one way or another. And Endurance, just a big 3-4 with reach, pretty good against cards like Dragon's Rage Channeler. Also respecting the graveyard, we have Elvish Reclaimer, Knight of the Reliquary, and Crop Rotation, all of which can grab this Bojuka Bog out of the main deck. There's also a copy of Karakas if an Atraxo or similar sneaks through on you. That's my respect for the graveyard, respect for the tempo stuff, already mentioned Endurance. We have Brazen Borrower that could clear a generic powerful threat like Murktide or Broadside Bombardiers or something like that. Play set of Swords to Plowshares. Prismatic Ending. Teferi can bounce stuff. And we can keep up with the more powerful decks in the format because we have Mox Diamond. If we're a mana ahead of where we're supposed to be on any given turn, that can help even the odds against almost anybody. That turns on plays like turn 1 Sylvan Library, turn 1 Life from the Loam, turn 1 Elvish Reclaimer, and Wasteland You. It's pretty cool. And then the fun stuff. That's all the important stuff. Like, those are the boxes I needed to check first. And then the fun stuff. 2 copies of Terrageddon. Power and toughness equal to the lands in all graveyards. Pretty juicy. A little worried about Terrageddon's stats because most decks play graveyard hate in the main right now. But most of that graveyard hate hits one graveyard, but not the other. There's not a lot of rest in pieces, but there are a lot of Nile Spellbombs and Soul Guide Lanterns. I expect my Terrageddon to be cut in half a few times this league, but I don't expect it to die outright because it is a 0-0. And then the card Armageddon. This is inspired by the pre-modern deck. I imagine you can see the combo here, which is a big trample creature if there's lands in the graveyard, and then killing all the lands. That makes it bigger, you see, and it makes it harder for them to deal with it because they don't have any lands. Teferi's in the deck mostly to help Armageddon resolve, but bouncing generic permanents, like I said, is a powerful effect as well. There it is. This is the list, how I came to it, and the bounties attached. Let's play Terrageddon. I am on the play in round 1 with a pretty sweet Mox Diamond opener. I'm going to keep. This is basically as much value as I could get out of a Life from Loam on turn 1. Discard Caracas, fetch. I'll get basic forest just in case. Like if I get Blood Moon on turn 1, maybe I'm supposed to fetch Plains if I'm worried about that. But this is really good mana to start the game. Let's just hope the game is about mana and stability. Because if it's not, I'm not doing much here. Opponent. Agadeem, untapped, Dark Ritual, GG. Okay, it's not Agadeem. I'm not going to be dredging Loam very often in this deck. At least I don't think I am. I could jam Teferi here. I think I'm going to float this Wasteland out. If they were trying to get value off of an Undercity Sewers, I want to punish that. And I'm not just going to cast Teferi into Daze. Right, just no fetch at all. Love it. I'm a little nervous if this is Reanimator. Though I have Plow for an Archon. I have Caracas face up. They've seen this one. I discarded it to Mox Simon for an Atraxa. I'm going to waste them in the end step and see what they do with this. They might just drop out a Bowmaster or something here, but they can't Entomb Reanimate at instant speed. Alright, Bowmaster is in. I'm going to let the Wasteland resolve before I plow this Bowmaster. Now they can't Daze. They need a Force of Will if they're going to interact with a spell. Fetch basic Plains and jam Teferi. This is the last spell in my hand, so I kind of hope it doesn't get forced. It did get forced. Alright. Rakshas's Bargain. Oh, we're playing against Bug Beans. Fun. Alright. This Wasteland lock's going to be really good against them. Cycling Lure revealed. Oh, unlock the basic island. Boo, boo. Okay, I mean, these cards don't cast up the Beanstalk or Murktide Regent between them, though. My Loam engine is actually not very good. I have some tech lands in the deck, but they're meant to be tutored for, not dredged into. So I do kind of need to draw some real cards. Alright, I'll play another... I'm out of basics. It basically doesn't matter. I'll play Windswept Heath and pass. Sit on this Swords to Plowshares for Murktide Regent. I have a Lush Portico I can fetch here. Uh-oh. Are they gonna spend their green, their one-shot green, for a Beanstalk right now? I'd kind of love if they just jam Murktide here. Ugh, that one I'm less excited about. Okay, Beanstalk resolves. Get a Ponder through. I think it is still my priority to Wasteland them when I can, which means I probably don't want a Lush Portico. If I know that I'm dredging this turn, I could save my Surveil for a turn where I'm actually going to draw the card I get to look at. Alright, Dredge, Loam, Bajuka Bog, Windswept Heath, Wasteland. Hitting the Bog all natural like that's pretty exciting. They do need their graveyard for stuff. I think Wastelanding them is better than bogging them first, because I can answer a Murktide with Plow. And they have to put another non-basic land into play to cast Murktide. Okay, they can't Murktide this turn. They won't be able to get blue-blue. They haven't printed Blue Borg yet, a card that I've wanted for years. Check out this Terravore revealed, face up in my graveyard. Fear this opponent. Watch out. I'm playing real Magic today. Okay, a land has appeared. Bayou. That doesn't make double blue either. I think I am going to spend this turn bogging them, because I can't take them off Murktide with Wasteland right now. I'll get the Portico, because I'm taking a draw this turn. It's probably too many of those. I'll put that in the graveyard and take a real draw. Ace Vith, not bad. Bog you, and pass. I'm worried about the double Beanstalk, of course, but they're not going to be able to cast Alluring Reveal this game. I just slowed down Murktide significantly. Getting them in a Wastelock's pretty sweet. I can deal with this Orc army whenever I need to. Ponder. They might main deck a Nile Spellbomb. They probably should have too, honestly. If they're playing the deck, that is how I would construct it. That would slow me down a little bit here. I am going to Dredge Loam. I've got 3 targets. They could value Force of Will. Glad that didn't happen. I'm going to chill on the Wasteland, because I don't want to waste the Bayou and then let them get Hedge Maze. I'm really interested in keeping them off double blue. Okay. I'm going to stop in their draw step. And I think I'm going to Wasteland now. That's too late to get Hedge Maze for the turn. I can tangle with a Murktide if I have to. I have this Plow and this Maze of Ith. Underground Sea from hand. Tameo. Alright. Well, I'm holding Caracas and they know it. This Orc army's done like 8. I'm not dredging Loam this turn. Oh yeah, great draw. Thinking about the timing is important here. I could plow Tamiyo. I really don't want to do that. If they cast any 5-drop Tamiyo flips, I might have to let them get a clue here. Or I could wait for Tamiyo flip to be on the stack. Like if I cast Endurance right now and target them, if they Force of Will this, Tamiyo's trigger will go on the stack, then I can bounce it. All right, target you with Endurance. Now I can just block Tamiyo. Fatal Push is on for the first time in the game. I'm going to block Orc Army because that's dealing damage to me. I've got multiple shots at Tamiyo here. Block the Orc. Because if they can flip Tamiyo at instant speed, then blocking it won't do me any good. Alright, now I'm under no pressure for the first time in the game. Alright, not judging Loam. I need actual cards. That's a really good card. I'm out of fetchable tech lands. I think I'll just play Tropical Island and attack. Get these beats coming. So I have Teferi in my deck that could help here. I don't want them casting Force of Will and just getting a draw 2 on my turn, which doesn't flip Tamiyo. Letting them just chunk away with their clues is a little risky, but I think it's right here. Dump to Bowmaster, not interested. A Murderous Cut. This is a bunch of draws. I'm going to bounce Tamiyo now before these draws go on the stack. Okay, Tamiyo's just in their hand. Cut's gone. They draw a million. Endurance is gone. They're also a Wasteland deck, and we haven't seen one yet. Okay, there's one. Take out the Caracas, maybe? Tamiyo resolves. Brainstorm. I'm going to let Brainstorm happen so Tamiyo's trigger goes on the stack, and then plow it now. Good chance there's a Force of Will. We've seen one. They play a bunch. They've seen a bunch of cards. Oh, good. All right, well, we got away with that. I hope they just Wasteland my Caracas or Trop and let this Maze of Ith ride, because now Murktide's a problem. Had a really good start to this game, but without applying pressure, these decks can just get ahead of you. Yep, Murktide confirmed. Wasteland still in play. It's just a 5/5. Would I rather take a draw or waste their Wasteland? It cost me a turn either way. I'm going to take a draw. Mox Diamond, not great. Right, Knight of the Reliquary is on the stack. Resolves, Mox Diamond. Discard Misty Rainforest. Play Windswept. Oh fuck, that was supposed to be Maze of Ith. Oh no. I just like autopiloted for a second. Okay. I hope they mess up and Wasteland the wrong thing, but that was... In my head, I was like, Maze of Ith is a done deal. I'm playing that. And then just parallel came up with the idea of, what if I could make my knight bigger by fetching? All right, that was a misclick at the end of this very cool long game. And now I'm basically dead to their face-up Wasteland. I need a plow, a Teferi. Endurance could buy me a turn. I have to take draws, though. Another knight. Let's go. Knight of the Rel. Big Rel. Maze of Ith, pass. Bowmaster, that kills me. Well, I guess I have to let them Wasteland first. Yeah, they had plenty of mana to do what they were going to do. They would have just wasted it and Maze of Ith, but it was still a mistake. And these are the matchups Bug Beans is just looking for, just thriving to destroy. All right, GG. Okay, against Bug Beans, I like Veil of Summer, and that might be it. I like one Loam in a game, but not two. Crop rotation is not really for Bug Beans. I think the Veils come in over the crop rotations. Loam and Sylvan Library can continue being my value engines. Force of Vigor can destroy Beanstalks at a pretty poor rate, but it's not zero. Being a blue deck, this sideboard could have Hull Breachers or Narset, that sort of thing in it, but those decks are not particularly popular in the metagame right now, which is why I didn't build for them. I built for like the top 9 decks in the metagame, not number 10, which is these Beanstalk control decks. But you could adjust that pretty easily. Is there a card that is much worse than Force of Vigor in my deck? I have Beseiju that can pick off Beanstalks. If I resolve stuff on the ground, that's a lot better. I could shave a Mox Diamond, and I don't think I want to go too low on mana. just one Force of Vigor in here, because I'm not going to aggressively pitch cast Force of Vigor to take out one Beanstalk. That's a 3-for-1 if they don't have the Force, and it's just unimaginable carnage if they do. I will keep this hand. Like, the one Force of Vigor is in here for if there's a mid-game situation where I can cast Force of Vigor for 4 mana and kill 2 Beanstalks, then it starts to make a little bit of sense. I'm still down on cards on that exchange somehow. Okay, pass. They know to fetch basics. I don't know what their list has, but my list does have an extra island in the sideboard. Ooh, Teferi. I am going to park a Wasteland. Again, just daring them to go for that turn 2 Beanstalk. There's no basic forest in the deck. Caracas. I think I would rather have Caracas in play. If they get squirrely and try to Wasteland it, that's fine. I think from this position, though, they should just Wasteland my Wasteland. All right, basic lands are in. Bowmaster time. I am going to plow this thing, because it's so good against Teferi, is the problem. Like, Orcish Bowmaster, the card, turn Teferi from a Legacy staple into a Fringe player. 1 damage. A Bee Storm. I'm probably going to get the Lush Portico this turn. It's time to make a push, though I don't have blue mana otherwise. Alright, I can't get Lush Portico if I want to cast a fairy ever. Knight of the Rel. Okay, basic plains, and this gets Tropical Island. Teferi. Spell Pierce would get me. Force of Will's a 2-for-1, I'll take it. Force Pitching Brainstorm, okay. Teferi functioned as Hymn to Tarak to try to clear the way for Knight of the Reliquary. This fetch land could get a bonus basic island, or they might not have one at all. Hedge Maze. Kept the card. I am taking out the Hedge Maze before they have a chance to tap it for green. Ponder. Shuffle the library. Wasteland, okay. They'll still probably take out Trop if they use it at all. But they might think they need their mana here. Okay. A Knight. I could just cast Endurance right now. Slow down any potential Murktides. I think I actually like that better than playing Wasteland, because they could waste my waste for no value here, like it's just a wash, where taking out their next colored source is pretty sick. I'm just going to play Boseiju as a land, and then Endurance them in the main phase. If they have Murderous Cut, they could do it now. If they have Murktide, I just set them back a while. Either way, there's no Beanstalk in play yet. Alright, Murderous Cut was had, and their graveyard's gone. That does make Terravore smaller. A deck with a bunch of Delve in it is certainly good at changing the size of Terravore. Okay, Orc Army attacking. That's a mana showing. I think it's Knight of the Reliquary time. Leaving up basic plains. Still holding my Wasteland. Sheoldred's Edict, you got me. And this Bug Beans deck is so good. Well-rounded removal against a variety of threats. Who did this? Okay, green mana showing. Do they have a Beanstalk, and is it too late? They do have a Beanstalk. Foxy's, you a-hole. Alright, well, it's probably not too late. I need a big hit. They've successfully fended off 4 bangers this game, and stuck a Beanstalk. I need a banger. That's not it. Wasteland. This does not take them off double blue, but it does take them off green. Gonna fire it. And for the first time in the game, I don't like my position. We were exchanging spells for a while, now we're just not. And they've stuck the Beanstalk. Gotta hope their mana's bad. Wasteland, another one. Oh, we're back in that spot where they could just waste my waste if I play this. Drago does not favor me. Brainstorm. And here we see the classic example of decks with cantrips versus decks without them. Like, my opening hand was more exciting than my opponent's, but here on turn 8, them ripping a Brainstorm is just bonkers. Alright, I'm getting Thoughtseize, so I'm going to plow the Orc Army, at least take this pressure off, and then they can take my Mox Diamond. That does clear the way for a Murktide, though. Double Wasteland. Alright, they're just going to take me off green aggressively. It's not the worst play I've ever seen. Alright. That's so good if I find a forest. That is one of the best cards in my deck. Nile Spellbomb. Alright, that makes Night worse, but it's still fine. Alright, just aggressively popping it off here. Looking for that next card. Come on, Forest. No! My Wastelands have betrayed me. Another Spellbomb, sure. Are they just going to pop this for a card immediately, too? Are they going to target themselves? Probably not. Yeah, they're still targeting me because they use their graveyard. They're more worried about their own Murktides than my Terravores. I'm a little offended. Misty Rainforest. Oh my goodness. Set me free. They have 2 cards in hand. Could be Force Blue card. Looks like it's not. Alright, this would be big if it sticks. A fetch. Tropical Island. I'm likely to waste that. Another Beanstalk. I'm not going to waste the Trop right now because it's already tapped and doesn't matter, and it would turn on Fatal Push. Or they fetched. No, Fatal Push is on anyway. Still doesn't matter. I'm going to go to my turn and decide if I'm going to wasteland them. We did it. We had tap with Knight of the Reliquary. Now what, opponent? Now what? Oh, and here's this exact spot I described of Force of Vigor destroying 2 Beanstalks au natural. All right, wasteland you. Elvish Reclaimer on the Stackerino. And I'm not going to attack with Knight because I want to do Knight stuff with it. I have a Talent Gates of Madara to protect my Knight if they have removal. And I have Bojuka Bog. That was last game I used that, right? Yeah, Bojuka Bog is in my deck. Oh no, the natural white source. I was a little worried about that. Okay. End step. Sacrifice this Plains. I think I'm just going to get a fetch land and fetch for Lush Portico. We're in Value Town here. If they had Murktide, they would have played it. Endurance, what's up? Put that on top. Draw for turn. Attack with both or just Reclaimer? I think it's just Reclaimer for now. I simply don't think they have the card Murktide Regent. I am going to play Endurance in the upkeep. Enforce of Will is still very good. We're in there. Take your graveyard away. That does put all those green sources back into the pool of fetchable lands, but running them out of green sources isn't my plan. Running them out of life points is. Yeah! Honest. Maverick Gaming. Yeah, Force of Vigor, I drew it in exactly the spot I described it might be good in, and it wasn't the best thing for me to do with my mana, so I'm not going to bring in another one, but I'm still kind of a believer in the one. Mox Diamond is pretty good at having colors, and I did have color problems that game, but drawing a second Mox Diamond in these games is going to be bad, like we saw in game 1, as I just sort of flooded out in the mid-game. More bangers is where I want to be. Yeah, this is it. This is the plan. This is the best 60 I could present. A hand that's pretty weak to Wasteland, but I am going to keep. I play a large land count, and I have the Sylvan Library in here. They're doing something turn 1. Am I getting Thoughtseized? Oh, Tameo. Yeah, that card's good. Life from the Loam. That card's good too. I'd love to just see a fetch land here. All right. I will take Plains, though. Something to get my second mana online works for me. Ponder. That's 2 draws this turn. They are in a position, like they had a 1-drop that applies pressure, and I started on a tap land. They are in a position that wastelanding me is defensible. That didn't happen, though. We lucked out. I think I'm just going to go for Sylvan Library here. This is a banger if it resolves, and it'll get an answer out of their hand if it doesn't. Witherbloom Command would be excellent for them here, just killing my library and hitting their next land drop. Bowmaster is kind of frustrating here, but I don't have to library if they have Bowmaster. Alright, we're in Tameo Town. I have 1 Prismatic Ending and 1 Brazen Borrower in my deck that can stop this from going infinite. And they did find a Wasteland, but haven't used it. Okay, do they have a Bowmaster? They do not. Alright. Can I leverage having this many cards in my hand? No. So I'm not going to pay the 4 for Terravore. I think I will pay the extra for Knight of the Reliquary. I am, again, kind of color screwed. I'd love to use Veil of Summer to protect myself from literally anything, but I can't. Alright, I will keep the Knight. Do I want to try to Wasteland them, or am I trying to get up into Armageddon? Armageddon seems so sweet. I think I'm just going to play the tap land and pass. Because Tameo could go up to 6. Next turn, I can do something with Veil Protection. And if they, like, Thoughtseize me, I can get them. Cycling Lorien revealed. And Tameo put so much pressure on games so fast. I really wish that was just Orcish Bowmaster or Delver of Secrets or something. Okay, so they cycled for Underground Sea. Witherbloom Command. Alright, Veil of Summer. This is what you're for. Save me. Cool. Alright. I have Hexproof. They still get to mill and pick up a land. They did not recycle Wasteland, though. They're not on a Wasteland denial strat here. They picked up Polluted Delta, then played Underground Sea. So there's a Delta in that hand. Ponder. I hope they minus Tamiyo here, because I'm kind of incentivized to pitch an Endurance anyway and blow up this graveyard while my spells are uncounterable. Plus the Tamiyo, like a boss. Okay, I would love to find an untapped green source on this Sylvan library. Untapped blue-white source. I did find the Prismatic Ending, though. That is one of the most important cards I can have here. Okay, Plow on top. And I'll pay for Tundra. How do I trick them into using a counterspell on something that's not Tamiyo? The removal's so good that it barely matters. I guess I'll play Elvish Reclaimer. I have to navigate Daze and Force of Will and Fatal Push and every other thing here. Wasteland, you're green. Alright, Prismatic Ending. Here's my YOLO throw. Please work, please work, please work. No, they had the Force. Okay. Sucks to suck. The Force pitching Murktide. Well, they were pretty patient about that. And do I want to Endurance them now? If I was going to do this, I should have done it before the Prismatic Ending. I was loose. Alright, I am going to pitch Light from the Loam to Endurance, though. Alright, take your graveyard away. Drew a card with a clue. That does turn on Fatal Push, but Elvish Reclaimer doesn't care. It's already small enough. Yep, Fatal Push got me. Tamiyo's on 8. So I have to find Brazen Borrower in the top 2 cards in my deck to have a chance here. Have a look. Talon Gates, target creature, not target permanent. Just checking. Talon Gates on top. And I'll pay to keep Windswept Heath. And I'm going to take a swing here. I am going to cast Armageddon. If it resolves, I get a bounty. I don't have to win the game. Let's make it weird. Do you think half their deck will include any lands? This does not favor me, by the way. But it is the YOLO swing. We got an expletive in the chat. Okay. Well, Armageddon resolved. They do get to draw half their deck, which presumably has some lands in it. Maybe sending the Armageddon last turn was the play, but it wasn't right. Like, if they freak out and Force of Will it, it's not ideal for me. Or it is ideal for me, but if they just let it resolve and decide to draw half their deck, they're fine. Right, Source of Plowshares is gone. Setting up a Murktide. Use Library. Mox Diamond is so close to being good. Alright, I'm going to put Loam on top of my deck. And then I have to pay 4 here. Mox Diamond. I got to turn on my green cards. Alright, Elvish Reclaimer. Into every removal spell they play. Terravor's 11/11 though. Just imagine if that was in play. Okay, Force of Will. I'm also at 3. Most things kill me here. Maybe I'm just supposed to disrespect Daze last turn. Like maybe they Force of Will Knight of the Reliquary if I play it. But if their hand has Fatal Push in it, it just doesn't matter. The deck's too good at just answering anything that might plague it. Not too good, like broken, but too good, like extremely well constructed and good at what it does. Alright, I'm dead. Soloed by Tamiyo. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the draw for round 2. I'm going to keep my hand. Opponent has already mulled to 6. I have turn 1 Reclaimer, turn 2 Library, and I can pitch Endurance if I need to. My hand is not strong against Wasteland, but my deck's full of lands and Light from the Loams. Alright, 6 cards in opponent's hand. Blue to Delta. Basic Island. And Delver. Alright. It's Delver time. Bauble. If they played this Bauble, that means they don't have Quarry Steel Cutter in their hand, probably. And they're bobbling me, more worried about looking at what I've got going on than trying to set up their own Delver. Okay, they could just do both. Never mind. They draw for that Bauble. Prismatic Ending. Alright. That's almost a useful card. Might be someday. Elvish Reclaimer. Get in there. Reclaimer resolves. Now they're going to bobble themselves. Looking for the double peak. Okay, they're drawing before looking, which means they did not see a spell on top of their deck. And they still didn't see a spell. Elvish Reclaimer, hold the fort versus a mean old Delver. Love to see it. Flooded Strand is not Wasteland. Count it. Red is the other color they have. Ponder can set up a Delver for next turn. Lightning Bolt can kill an Elvish Reclaimer. Sylvan Library is pretty risky against decks that actually impact your life total quickly. But I'm still going to play it if I don't draw a white source to do something else. Basic Plains would give me a lot of comfort right now, because that lets me cast the Ending immediately and bank the Plow for later. And if they don't have creatures in play, I'm not worried about much that's going on, unlike the Beanstalk deck, where if they resolve Beanstalk, I'm in all sorts of trouble. Okay, they did have the Bolt, did not shuffle the Ponder. White land, Basic Plains? Teferi, not quite. Sylvan Library. It's in there. Delver. Likely to flip because of the Ponder. Days revealed. After I successfully resolved my 2-drop, got him. Got the beats, taking the beats. I need a white land in my top 3 cards here, and I'll feel pretty okay with the situation. Ooh, Petty Theft. Aggressive, but fine. Alright, now I need a white land, or any land on top of my deck. Oh no! Alright, well, let's flush that Days out, I guess. Alright, Days spent on Sylvan Library. Still in the position that a white land sets me free. Ponder. They won't be able to Murktide this turn. I don't have to think about pitching Terravore to Endurance. Ponder didn't shuffle. They know Wasteland's good against me. But they also know blue-green are not the colors I need right now. I need white. Channeler. Alright. Bow, 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 bow. I am going to get Basic Plains, and I'm going to use it to Prismatic Ending the Dragon's Rage Channeler. The only interaction they can have here is Force of Will, which would leave them Hellbent. And I kind of would like to resolve a 3-mana spell next turn, so I'm not wasting them just yet. We'll see if that proves to be reckless. I did unlock white on the turn where they found a second threat, though. Not the greatest. If they play a fetch land and fetch here, I will Endurance in response to the fetch. I'm not ready for a Murktide Regent. Okay, there's the fetch land. Tamiyo. Got the shit. I'm sick of that card. Okay, they only have 1 card in hand, which means they can't Force of Will me here. A land is a big draw, and we did it. Okay, we're in there with the land. Now I can go to Fairy, and they would need something like Spell Pierce to beat this. If they have that, it's probably a 1-of in their deck. I'm really going to hope they don't. How about that? Cool. Delver, get the hell out of here. Alright. The tides are starting to turn. Tamiyo is a scary card, but I can plow her if they just jam a Brainstorm and get a flip going. Endurance can smoke anything they're going to play next turn. We just turned off all the counter spells in their deck. Kept a card on top, though. A little scary. What would you keep on top here? Probably a Bolt, a Murktide, maybe a Brainstorm. Attacking me. I'm trying not to use my Swords to Plowshares on stuff that's not Murktide Regent here. Making mana in combat. Unless you're cracking your clue. It's not going to do much with the Fairy around. Dragon's Rage Channeler, you're in there. Ponder, alright. Setting up a Delver, getting big digs here. Last card in hand is Delver right now, plus whatever Ponder comes up with. My plan is to fetch Lush Portico in the end step, untap, plus Teferi, pass with Plow plus Endurance available, and get a giant sweep of their board. Dump to Force and Negation, good call. That one's not going to be very good. And Delver's back. End step, I fetch to 8 life. Get this precious card selection going. Portico. I don't want Sylvan Library at 8 life anymore. Don't have time for that shit. Misty Rainforest, Hot Rip. And I'm going to pass. We get to see their draw with Delver, probably, because they've cantripped. Lightning Bolt. Alright. Interesting. They could clear Teferi before combat. Alright, yeah, them just moving into combat is the best possible outcome for me here. Channeler has to fight. Right, everything is attacking me. Good call. At 8 life with Bolt in your hand, that's a smart place to be. I don't think I'm going to be wastelanding them, though we should figure it out. If I waste them, I have 4 mana. That's enough to cast 1 spell a turn for a while. I don't have a lot of 2-drops in my deck. If I fetch to 7, I think that's fine. All right, I'll get another Savannah here. Savannah, I'm going to wasteland Volcanic Island, not Thundering Falls, because I'm about to Endurance them and I don't want the fetchable Surveil back in the list. Yeah, float your red. Guess you could crack a clue with it. I have to cast Endurance before blocks because I want to block with it. I can't burn off this red mana. Endurance U. That shrinks these shitters down. Block Delver. Plow Dragon's Rage Channeler. They both can't cast Murktide, and I have a backup Teferi to clear it if they do. Now they have to make a really hard decision to bolt my Endurance and have almost nothing going on, or bolt me and try to cheese out with burn over the top this game. Bolting Teferi is the choice they went with. Brainstorm. Okay. So they're going to flip Tamiyo here. Have 1 card in their hand. I get to bash Tamiyo for 2. This might be a Terravore game. Get ready, everybody. They can't have Force of Will, and I've played around Daze. Going after Teferi there's fascinating. I don't think it's wrong. It's just really interesting. Attack Tamiyo. That must happen. And I'm going to try to get a Terravore win on the board. We got bounties to check. It's bigger than Lightning Bolt. Let's go. It is smaller than Knight of the Reliquary, because Knight, you get comped the first 2 for your own graveyard, and my opponent doesn't have any lands. We just got rid of them all. If my opponent has like a Soul Guide Lantern right now, they actually can kill Terravore as a state-based action. Just for the record, Knight of the Reliquary was the better play there if you're at the Legacy Pro Tour. But I got competing objectives here. I'm making content. Oh, this fetch land grows the vor. Chomp, 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 chomp. That's what Terravore sounds like. I'm hungry for lands. Plus Tamiyo. She's still going to die. Brazen Borrower. Cool. Alright, I'm going to attack Tamiyo with my creatures here. I can't afford for them to buy back a Lightning Bolt. I think getting bolted out is the only way I lose this game. I have Murktide triple covered. I have the biggest creatures on the board. They're about to get bigger. I don't care about Brazen Borrower. I have that triple covered as well. Quadruple covered either, because Endurance can just block. If they just fling a bolt to my face in the end step here, this is their plan to win the game. Okay. I'm at 4. If their hand is 2 bolts, or they find 2 bolts before I hit them for 17, this is how it happens. I would be at 1 if they hadn't bolted Teferi all those turns ago, and they haven't cast an instant since then. I mean, the bolt is an instant, but they could have just not cast that. Like, they could have cast it on their own turn. Teferi would be up to 4 again here. I guess if they're trying to pave the runway for a Murktide, bolting Teferi makes some sense. All right, 1 card in hand. It would have to be... All right, now it can't even be Spell Pierce. Or it couldn't have been anyway because of Knight. All right, here we go. The Teferi's coming in. Remember me? They bounce this Murktide. I can attack for 14 right now, which is not enough. If I hadn't played my land first, Wasteland... Oh, wait, this counts twice. This is 7, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, I'm a little short. Do they have any haste creatures? It doesn't matter. I can Brazen Borrow them. All right. This doesn't change the clock, actually. I'm going to keep Knight back for the various tricks Knight is good at. Like blowing up their graveyard, Talon Gates of Madara. All those are things I can do. Just don't bolt me twice. I don't have a land that solves that problem. Nope. Certainly not. Uh-oh. I'm at 1. Glad I didn't fetch. No, don't tap red! Don't tap red! Stop it! Stop it! You're messing with me. They are messing with me. Good. Good content. I appreciate my opponent's cooperation in making this fun to watch. All right. We have a Terravore win on the board. Another bounty unlocked. We've already lost the 5-0 bounty, but that's okay. There's more to do. Hydroblast is good. Veil of Summer is medium, but probably fine. None of these other cards matter against them. Tabernacle might play. Yeah, it's really... Tabernacle is a maybe. Like, if I get in and then Tabernacle, that's a play pattern that could catch me up from extremely far behind. I think I'm going to shave a diamond. I didn't put any Carpet of Flowers in the sideboard, which seems like a mistake in retrospect, but I guess I am like pretty good at having mana. I'm actually going to board out a GEDDON on the draw versus a deck that functions on 1 or 2 lands and also will have me on the back foot the whole game. There's still one in there for the gas. On the draw with Sylvan Library is kind of awful too. Oh, crop rotation is so much worse than Sylvan Library. All right. I probably won't need to rotate my crops. And crop rotation versus blue decks is so risky because sacking the land is the cost of crop rotation. It's not when it resolves, which means like a Spell Pierce or a Daze or whatever puts me down a whole land in addition to the spell they get. But obviously I'm a deck full of Teferi, and resolving that is good. Do I think 1 crop rotation is better than 1 Tabernacle? Tabernacle seems sweet. I'm going for it. It could have Quarry Steel Cutter. Force of Vigor would play there. Tabernacle's okay there too. All right, I'm doing this. I'm not bringing in Force of Vigors. Beautiful, good mana hand. I'll keep it. I have too many Mox Diamonds. You board one out and you still flood out with them. It's fine. Just need a Life from the Loam and everything's great. I will keep. I like, other than the second Mox Diamond, I like every card I'm looking at. Volcanic Island. Delver. Okay, I'm going to try a high-level play here. I'm going to play Mox Diamond first and hope that they daze it. Daze is not going to get better. What do you think? What do you think? You might never daze anything ever again. What if that card just goes to waste in your hand? We got him! Can't pay. What a shame. Ka-chow. Mox Diamond, I will discard. They are playing on a volcanic island. Double green matters to me at some point, but Wasteland probably is better. All right. I'm going to discard Trop, play Plains, plow the Delver, and then play Reclaimer. There's one of those fringe plays where if you understand what's important to different legacy decks, like that was kind of a Malta 6 that I turned into a full 7 just by not playing my land before I played Mox Diamond. And the reverse is also true. If you really need your Mox Diamond, play your land first. Legacy streamer and friend of the show, Jarvis Yu, lost in the top 8 of a Grand Prix because he didn't do exactly that. He got his turn 1 Mox Diamond dazed when he had plenty of lands he could just play. All right, opponent is out of stuff to do. I need a green source of mana, and then I start beating him up. Not green, but pretty demoralizing. They're up to 7 cards in hand. Hey. Okay, I can play Endurance here, or I can let them start going to hand size discard, and my next green source also beats Force of Will. Oh, here we go. Let's see if there's a Force of Will. They'll probably fight over this. Okay, cool. I don't think their hand has Force in it. This has to get Basic Island if they want to keep playing. There it is. A Delver. Okay. Another Reclaimer. How do I want to do this? I don't think they have Force. Endurance is very good against a bunch of different things that they do. I'm just going to pass the turn. Get a look with Delver. Delver didn't flip, which means they did not draw Force of Will, but they might be drawing a land which can cast Murktide Regent. So I am going to Endurance right now. There's mana in the pool. Brainstorm, okay. Oh, my read was correct that they don't have Force of Will, but they might find one here if the next 2 cards down in their deck are Force of Will, because we know the one on top is not. Or they're playing 3D chess and decline to reveal a spell that would have flipped Delver, which is sometimes right to do, but very rarely, and certainly not right now. All right, we're in there with Endurance. Get that graveyard out of here. They still don't have a Force. Of that, I am confident. Maybe I was supposed to tap Plains to do this instead of Wasteland. Because Wasteland can target itself. Like if they did Lightning Bolt my Reclaimer there, and missing the ability to save it would be kind of a loose one. All right, Elvish Reclaimer, another one. I'm winning the damage race, so I am just going to attack with Endurance here. All I have to do is Wasteland anything, including Wasteland, or activate one of my Reclaimers, and then I have 9 power in play. All right, they're going for the emergency Delver's got to flip here, Brainstorm. Which is interesting, because they just Brainstormed, and none of those cards, none of the 8 cards they were looking for last turn were spells. Like, their hand is just all creatures. Because they've missed multiple land drops, and Delver didn't flip, and they've Brainstormed last turn, and could have set this up if they wanted to. There's no way that they're just holding 8 creatures right now. I don't believe it. Do they even play 8 creatures? It might be all of them. And there's already a Delver in Exile and a Dragon's Rage Channeler on bottom of the deck that Endurance just put there. I don't know. Weird. But I'm into it. Right, Delver trigger after the Brainstorm. Delver flips, revealing another Brainstorm, which they did not shuffle away. Still want it. Or they just don't want to fetch their second land into this wasteland because they're probably out of basics. Another land. I'm taking damage. I'm bleeding my own blood. I could rotate for Talon Gates, but I don't mind taking 3 here. It's fine. Right, end step. Activate Elvish Reclaimer. Sacrifice Plains. Now I have a giant pile of giant creatures. I'll get the Lush Portico here. Knight of the Reliquary. We love that one. I'm interested in racing. Opponent's at 7. Fetching in response to Knight of the Reliquary. So if they have all 4 bolts, bolt, 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 bolt is 12, 13, 14, 15. If they play 5 bolts, like a Chain Lightning, I could get burned out here, I guess. But now that they've Brainstormed, that's way less likely. I'm probably not actually supposed to attack with Endurance there. Just to make sure I don't get burned out. Having too much fun, just turning green card sideways. Right, Knight's in there. They can't bounce my creatures because I have Veil. They'd have to back it up with a removal spell of some variety. Price of Progress does more to them than it does to me. 3 red mana showing. Bolt, bolt, bolt is 9. The days of Fireblast Delver are a full decade behind us. I'm not worried about that card. And now Price of Progress actually kills them. Honor didn't shuffle. They found some action. Dragon's Rage Channeler. Mighty 1/1. They could play Murktide here. Do I care if they do? Ooh, interesting. They floated blue. That might have been a misclick. Like, this Bauble is still on the stack. I'm going to Endurance away. Potential Murktide. Alright, Daze. Trigger. If I get double dazed here, it's going to have to be fine. Okay, cool. We did it. We beat Delver, which is one of the decks that I had in mind when I was constructing the deck. The Endurance, great. The Swords of Plowshare is great. If we stay in the top of the metagame, I feel like I've made good decisions here. Though I feel like I should probably have more than one Prismatic Ending in the list with the prevalence of Tamiyo in the format. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the play in round 3. I am going to keep. I have a pretty reactive hand here, but first appearance of the crop rotations, because we've been 2 for 2 on matchups where I board those out. But I can rotate for Bojuka Bog if my opponent's on some sort of graveyard combo deck, then with their reanimate avatar over there. Windswept Teeth and pass. My default is Lush Portico, but if they do stuff, I can adjust. Opponent mulled to 6. Ooh, Urza's Tower. So this is what we're doing. I have Beseiju in my hand. Prismatic Ending. Crop rotation for Wasteland plays here. Alright, I'm going to get Lush Portico. Swords to Plowshare is probably not where I need to be. Ooh, baby. Alright, I'm going to remove all their permanents from play. Swords to Plowshares does line up versus Flaring Fleshraker in a way that most of my deck doesn't. Ooh, do I want that more than I want a Plains? Their deck has Karn in it, so probably not. I'm going to Beseiju the Planar Nexus in their draw step. I don't think they have any basics, but I'll give them a chance to draw the 1 if they do. Cool. And you can't get a waste with that because it doesn't have a basic land type. Wasteland. Alright, now I need to win somehow. I've done a good job fending them off. Ancient Tomb. I could kill that. Grim Monolith resolves. How hard can they go? Did they break free completely here? I'm probably going to rotate Plains into what? What even helps me here? Not much, honestly. I've already used my Portico. That's not what this is for. Uh-oh. Well, they found a Fleshraker. I guess I could rotate plains into blue source. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. All right. Crop rotate plains into tundra, or into fetch land 4 tundra is better. Into misty, fetch tundra, petty theft, the flesh raker. Then I can waste the ancient tomb. Oh, sick. All right, now I have an answer to the flesh raker anyway. And I have one of my blue mana available to cast Brazen Borrower and start attacking. Planar Nexus. Any land. All right, I'll take a Reclaimer too. Big beats. I have an attacker. We've got a chance. Versus Workshop, yikes. This is just 2 mana though. For now. All right, this land is better than the Mox Diamond. Okay. We're starting to apply pressure now. I can answer the Flesh Raker we know they have. Nice, a pass. That's great. Fetch Trop here. The Brazen Beats are coming. Endurance. Okay, so now I have to decide, do I want to add another creature to the board or crop rotation for Wasteland and blow up this Planar Nexus? This actually does change the clock, so I will just hold up the Endurance and hope that it gets me over and they don't combo me out right now. 2 mana, Grim Monolith. That could replay the Flesh Raker, which I have an answer to. If they just pass without doing anything, we got them. 9 damage. A Kozilek's Command could make a chump blocker, but I can plow the 1/0/1 they can make. They don't even gain life off it. All right, they are spending mana. Make an Eldrazi. Oh, right. Exiling Reclaimer. That's a big part of that card, too. Never mind. That actually did do something serious. All right, 1 Eldrazi spawn. It does not change the clock to kill it. And now I have this Forest. Forest, crop rotate that into a Wasteland. Wasteland, take out Planar Nexus. And I think it is best for me to just plow the spawn. Just don't cast a spell next turn. That's what I need from my opponent. All right, I'm all in. Wow, what a match to steal as a fair green deck. Yikes. That's one of the scarier matchups there is. All right, Force of Vigor, Disruptor Flute, Null Rod, Consign, Deafening Silence. A lot of stuff coming in here. I'll shave a GEDDON. Library's fine. I actually like the idea of waste locking them. Teferi's kind of slow, but I'm into it. I don't actually need basic lands against them if I'm willing to shave. I'm going to shave a Diamond. They're a Karn deck, though I mean, keeping up with them is kind of important. I'm going to shave 1 Loam. I don't need Endurance here. They don't use their graveyard. It is a flash attacker, though. I think I'm going to shave a Teferi. The crop rotations are actually really good there. Surprisingly good. I'm going to leave them in. More Wastelands against this deck is not a problem. Talon Gates are interesting. They could phase out a Flesh Raker and kind of time walk them on a turn they're trying to go off. Mace of it. They will not be attacking me. I don't need that one. I found a land I could cut. Bajuka Bog I don't need. I need 1 more cut. I could cut 1 more Endurance here. I could cut a Plow. Yeah, Plow only has 1 target in this matchup, and alright, I'm comfortable with this. Grafdigger's Cage stops Mystic Forge from casting spells. Is that good enough? And here we're in the philosophical conversation of when you're a deck that is playing against a busted combo deck, do you bring in literally anything that could do anything, in which case I should make room for Cage, or do you bring in what you think is enough without diluting your ability to actually kill them back? And in that case, I don't think Cage is very good. All right, I guess I will try cutting in Endurance for the Cage, and we'll do that. On the draw against this deck, I do kind of want to bring in anything that does anything. Consigned to Memory that I can't play. 2 Wastelands, though. I am going to try this. Wasteland is very good against them in some situations and useless in others. We'll see what situation we're in. Disruptor Flute's going to name Wasteland for sure. Yep, okay. My hand just got a lot worse. Fetch land off the top. Access to blue. Buy me that turn? No. Just another blue card. All right. Opponent's technology might get them over here. I'll take key is in. Another key is in. Versus Workshop taps for 1. This is a big turn to draw a blue source. Yeah. All right. Pass the turn. We're suddenly playing this game. Planar Nexus, so they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana right now. 3 cards in hand. I will counter that. And I think I should get Tropical Island for this because green is more important than blue. Is that true? I think it is. Drop. Consign Con Queso. 1 extra copy, simply because I'm not doing anything else with it. I do have an aggressive line here if I want it, which is Bounce Disruptor Flute, waste them while the shields are down. But having another consign in my hand makes me not super interested in doing that. All right. Maybe on a future turn, I will bounce Flute and waste them 3 times all at once. That sounds dope as hell, actually. Manifold Key. That's fine. Ooh, they don't have another payoff. Big. All right, Sylvan Library, let's go nuts. Null Rod, hell yeah. I suddenly feel pretty good about this game after being worried about my opening keep. Okay, I'm going to put Forest on top. I will pay for Force of Vigor, and I'll cast this Null Rod off of 2 Wastelands, and then next turn I can bounce Flute, waste them 3 times before they can replay it. And then if they ever have lands again, I have Armageddon. A tower, suddenly a lot of mana. Casting Ugin here would be... It would kill my library, but I can answer the Ugin, so it's mostly okay. All right, yep, there is Ugin. Oh wait, I have Consign. That counters 2 things. I get to keep my library too. So good! All right, counter Ugin. Replicate once. Also counter the trigger. All right, all their stuff's countered, and now I'm gonna remove all their permanents. All right, I'm gonna put back Forest. I mean, my life total doesn't matter. I'm just going to keep it all. Pay, play Wasteland, Petty Theft your Disruptor Flute, and then Wasteland, and I think the tower is the one I'm more worried about. Hell yeah, that was sweet. Big fan. Okay, I'm looking at a fresh grip of new cards here. Deafening Silence. I'm going to put Windswept Heath on top, and I'm actually going to pump the brakes here a little bit. I'll put Crop Rotation on top too. I don't want to go to 3 and just get cheesed out by a Glaring Fleshraker and a couple spells. Forest, Reclaimer, Deafening Silence, and now the beats begin. They could play the Flute, name Reclaimer, but I'm not going to be rotating with it. I'm going to be attacking. Dismember, fair enough. Okay, if their hand is full of reactive cards here, that's great. They just took 6 damage to play that Dismember. And their hand is Disruptor Flute. I'm going to end step cycle the Thicket and just move through these cards. The Straw's Crop Rotation. There's a Windswept Heath under it, and then 2 new ones. Windswept Heath lets me play Brazen Borrower and start beating down. Swords to Plowshares Misty. Okay, put on top, and yeah, I'm just going to protect my life total here. Play Brazen Borrower, then GEDDON away the Ancient Tomb. That would be sick. If they play Disruptor Flute here, I will respond by both fetching and playing Brazen Borrower, because I don't want them delaying this. I want them dying. Respectfully. Okay. They didn't do stuff. Ooh, they might actually have me in a squeeze here, because if I fetch, they could Disruptor Flute in response, name Brazen Borrower, and then I can't play it. I guess I couldn't play around that, but if that's their spell for the turn, it's probably okay. Another Ancient Tomb, alright. Mystic Forge is pretty bad. The One Ring does very little. Karn may still do something. Alright, they've had enough. 2-0 versus Mystic Forge combo with a deck that cannot force a will. You know, we played against a force check deck and a deck with no forces and cobbled it together with other tools. That was sweet. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables. In this YouTube series, hosts Patrick Sullivan and Patrick Chapin go set by set through Magic's past, leveraging their decades of experience as Pro Tour players and game designers to analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a deep dive into the facts, mechanics, cycles, trivia, decks of the time, and historical context of the set. The hosts dig into notable cards of the era and their lasting impact today. Each set gets an award show where the hosts pick their favorite cards for categories such as Best, Worst, and Weirdest. And finally, give a letter grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Receivables has it at youtube.com/thereceivables. I'm on the play in round 4 with a hand that obviously is extremely, distressingly fair, but I'm not going to mulligan. At its core, this is a deck that is mostly trying to do stuff like hit 3 lands, cast Elven Library, cast Knight of the Reliquary, and then continue playing. I'm not going to mulligan to Endurance plus green card just in case they're Reanimator. Basic Plains, pass. Opponent's got 7 cards over there. Volcanic Island. Alright. So it's a matchup where Sylvan Library is bad. Great. Perfect. Ideal. But it's not a matchup that's going to kill me on turn 1. We'll take it. Dumping Quarry Steel Cutters. So are they looking for lands, or do they already have a cutter? Interesting. Alright. I'm actually going to wasteland them. Wasting them from behind is generally not what you want to be doing as just a Magic deck. But dumping Quarry Steel Cutter makes me feel like they just didn't have 2 mana to play that thing. And if I can keep them off of 2 mana to play any of them in the future. So they either didn't have mana to play it or they had a second one. Either way, taking them off the mana is pretty cool. This is a 3rd card type. They did not mill an instant or creature, so unless they get another Bauble here and another Surveil, I'm just taking 1 this turn. Top Preordained, terrifying. Okay, let's see if my gamble paid off. Basic Forest would be great here. Swords to Plowshares. I'm not mad about that, though. I'm actually going to go for the library first and see if we flush a counterspell out here. Because I can plow this anytime. But if I hold up mana and they waste me, then I can't necessarily play the Sylvan Library. But now if they waste me, they're down to 0 lands. I have Swords to Plowshares that they can't daze. And Life from the Loam rules the world in a matchup where we're both wasting each other. All right. I'm going to do this in their upkeep, just in case Force of Negation is what they have. They do sometimes have one of those. Okay, cool. That's gone. We know they have a Volcanic Island. I'm a forest away from undoing this whole game and just being totally fine. Oh, Polluted Delta. That means there's 2 lands over there. Bauble. Yeah, Basic Island is still in their hand. I might have said Volcanic a minute ago, but I killed that one. Tundra. Interesting. Unhelpful. But there it is. Do I want to Endurance them? I think that I do. If they just slam Murktide here, I'm so cooked. All right, I'm going to pitch the Terravore. Thank you for your service. You are so far away from being cast, though. You got to go, buddy. Okay, DRC is small again, and Murktide is temporarily postponed. Rainstorm. Dumped Thundering Falls. That's 2 card types. Okay, they may have just shuffled away the basic land. Ponder. That's 3 card types. Do not Surveil away. A Bauble will still get them there. You didn't have it. Just taking 1. Endurance. Good job. You did it all. Can I draw a forest, please? Absolutely not. Okay. Is the mana in my deck just bad? Did I build this wrong? I feel like I've been color screwed so many times for a 2-color deck with a light splash. We can review that in post later. Brainstorm, fetch land. We're back into Murktide territory. Still don't have Delirium. I'm at 14, and they don't have a Murktide. Okay. Hey, a forest. Oh my goodness. Basic Forest, Life from the Loam, target my 3 targets. I'm going to break out of any sort of mana screw or daze concern, and then I'll continue playing the rest of the game. All right, Spell Pierce, you got me. Dumped a Murktide. Okay, so maybe they do have a Murktide. They were just leaving up Spell Pierce for the round. That makes sense. I can crop rotate for Maze of Ith if I have to. I don't want to, but I will. I'm at 10. They can't play Murktide here without losing Delirium. Maybe they can. Land, instant. They might have been able to do it, but they chose not to. All right, Dredge Loam. Loam target. Wasteland, Misty Rainforest, and Tranquil Thicket. If they have a counterspell, I'm just dead anyway, but getting these land drops, rotating into Maze of Ith, absorbing the Murktide is, I think, what I need to be doing here. If their hand just has Force of Will in it, I can't win. And they seem to be thinking about the loam. All right, I'm going to pass. There's a fetch. I can't crop rotate now because that makes Wasteland too easy. Lightning Bolt. Youch. And they are right back to Delirium. Dumped a Force of Will, so they clearly have one already. Because that card just locks the win. I also lose the Lightning Bolt here. There's so many things that kill me here. I'll fetch for Savannah, float a white, and then crop rotate away the Tundra. Or no, I should not do that. I should crop rotate away the basic plains and leave Teferi and Brazen Borrower as cards I could draw, pretending this game's going to go another turn. Yeah, it's not. All right, GG. Pitching Tameo, so revealing Tameo at the end. All right, so basically one Wasteland color screwed me for like 5 turns that game, and then we lost. That'll happen. Hydroblast, Veil. Brought in Tabernacle last time. I think it's probably fine. I've been cutting crop rotation because they're blue decks, but they're also Wasteland decks where crop rotation's excellent. I'm going to cut at least one. All my cards are really good for these matchups, though. Maybe I'll cut one Sylvan Library. Don't want to draw 2 of those. Barely want to draw 1. Here we go. Ooh. I can do a lot off of a basic forest here. I'm going to try it. If any of these Reclaimers stick, then the engine gets online. Teferi's very good in the matchup. Just have to find mana. Channeler. Come on, land. Any land? Oh, no. All right, Reclaimer. Another one. Yeah, Daze is a good card. Okay, I think I should attack. No, I'm not. They kept the card on top. Either they're going to kill Reclaimer, or they're going to do something slower. And if I can just like not take a damage from Dragon's Rage Channeler, I think that's better than dealing 1 to them. They milled away a sorcery, so that's 2 card types in the graveyard, including the Preordain. Bottom top, saved a life by not attacking. Land. Teferi, you asshole. All right, how about another one of these? Heck yeah, now I can attack. I got a blocker anyway. Scalding Tarn, Quarry Steel Cutter. First one of these we've had to play against. Ooh, still chilling. Deck, we've been afforded an opportunity that we probably don't deserve. Oh my god. Mox Diamond, I hate you. Okay, I guess I attack with one of these. They've probably realized that I'm just struggling to do anything, and will now have some giant combo turn where they attack me with like a 4/4 Monk and a Delirious DRC. Wow, we're in combat and they just didn't do anything? Is their hand just full of Force of Wills? What's going on over there? Like creatures they could have played by now. Okay, Murktide. I don't love it, but there it is. I think I want to play Veil just to cycle here, which sucks obviously, but so does losing to a 7/7. All right, they've dazed that, which also triggers their Quarry Steel Cutter. Okay, Daze was going to cook me no matter what. Ended up getting it out of the way on a brick. A land! Oh my god. Would I rather play Mox Diamond or have a land in play? Fetching cost me life. Would they fight over Mox Diamond? Probably not. Can they bounce Mox Diamond? I'm not sure. If they Spell Pierce this, that's fine. Okay. I'm going to play Mox Diamond. Discard the land. And I'm just going to pass. I'm going to have to rotate Forest into Mazavith this turn. I'll have 2 3/4s that can block if they're pounding on the ground. And I'm just terribly cooked if this DRC gets flying. Ponder, that's 3 card types. Into land. Didn't shuffle Ponder. A combat without Delirium. Alright, the Murktide is through. Now I have to decide what I'm doing. Because casting Teferi would be pretty cool. I think I'm going to get Lush Portico here and try to move my game forward. All right. Swords to Plowshares is a reasonable magic card. I'm going to pass and probably try to fight during combat. Again, I just lose to a counterspell. Though that's not even true now because they would need 2 counterspells. Right, Swords to Plowshares this thing. If they fight over this, Spell Pierce, my cursed nemesis, can I afford to play a game where this Murktide hits me once? Crop rotation, if they interact with it, I lose, just full out. And I don't think I can afford to get hit here. I lose to Daze, I lose to everything. But crop rotating, okay, Maze of Ith, let's get you. There you are. I'm back down to 1 mana though. Cards like Spell Pierce and Daze should be terrible against this deck, but obviously, if you just don't have mana, those cards stay good for a very long time. Wasteland from hand got me. Now I'm dead next turn. Bojuka Bog, LMAO. This makes Murktide much bigger, but it makes them farther away from Delirium. It's dead to Lightning Bolt anyway, whatever. I'm not winning this game if I don't resolve a Teferi and bounce Murktide, and even then I'm probably still not winning this game. Alright, dead. Yeah, I mean, you could tell me I could have mulliganed in a deck with 25 lands and Life from the Loam. I feel like I ran kind of bad there, even missing once or twice, but missing for as long as I did. It's pretty heinous. I don't know. Maybe you mulligan there, maybe you don't. Do you think, how much better do you think 6 is going to be? Like 24 lands out of 53 cards left in my deck. It's a slightly weighted against coin flip every turn. And that game, if I just like draw a land, I'm doing great. They dazed and spell pierced multiple clutch spells that game just because I was 1 mana behind that spell at the time that they had it. I don't feel bad about that. I would probably make a similar decision again if I was given the same opportunity, even now thinking through it. Okay, let's go play the last round. We're a few rounds into the video. If you're still here and having fun, remember to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, use code BOSH for 5% off your order at toamagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the draw in the final round. I'm going to keep my hand. I actually really hope my opponent is Reanimator or Oopsal spells, because 2 of the last 2 remaining bounties involve Endurance and beating Oops or Reanimator. All right, please be combo Reanimator. Bayou. Entomb. Hell yeah, let's go! All right, sweet, 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 sweet. There are 2 bounties live right now. A big Endurance blowout and beating Reanimator. Valgavoth, Terror Eater, let's go. They appear to be an off-meta flavor of Reanimator. Let's hope that means Force Blue card aren't the last 2 cards in their hand. Okay, that's blowout with Endurance unlocked. Now we have to win the match. Wasteland you and play Reclaimer, pretty nice. Okay, 2 cards in hand, no mana. Can we move this forward? Marsh Flats. Please Thoughtseize me. Please Thoughtseize me. Badlands. Okay. So they were red-black Reanimator and just started on their splash land. That probably means there is, I'm blanking on the name, but the Tranquility that's free if you have a forest in their sideboard. Anger. That's interesting. Okay, they're on a brew. A whole ass brew. I'm showing Bojuka Bog here. I am going to rotate into... I don't think I need basic planes this matchup. Rotate into planes, and then rotate that, or fetch into planes, then rotate that into Lush Portico. Just moving my cards around. Do I want Tundra? I don't think so. I've revealed my blue mana to them. I showed you my blue mana. Please respond. I would rather have a land than a Mox Diamond at this point. And I have to suspiciously keep passing the turn with this Reclaimer up. Any Reanimator player knows what that means, but I wish I could be attacking or casting spells. Dark Ritual. Uh-oh. Entomb Reanimate. Entomb Reanimate. Animate Dead targeting my Endurance. That does make my Reclaimer little. Am I willing to spend my Bojuka Bog here? No, absolutely not. I can fetch and rotate, and my Reclaimer's just big again. Oh, this is sick. I could actually rotate now, put Lush Portico back in the deck with Endurance. Huh. How scared am I of this 1 floating black and 1 card in their hand? I don't think I am. They could reanimate Anger. Yeah, I don't care about that. All right. I am going to rotate in response and put Lush Portico back in my deck. I'll grab a Wasteland. Get nasty. Okay, then fetch the Lush Portico, and we're right back to work. Endurance has haste because of anger. That rules. It won't in a moment, though, when I wasteland them and they don't have a mountain anymore. Get in. Wasteland is already Armageddon. I'm good. Thanks for asking, though. Wasteland. All right. Wasteland completely stabilizes this game. Now if they attack, I can block, rotate for something, have 3 lands in the graveyard, and then we just touch butts. Block. And then I will get the bog here. Okay, they just don't want to play anymore. Sweet. All right, up a game against a Reanimator, and it was the hard game. Very Macabre, Grafdigger's Cage, Veil of Summer. These are all coming in. I'm not sure what the full depth of their insanity is with that anger. That's really interesting. This game is simply not going to be about Armageddon, and I'm playing for the positive record. I'm playing for a bounty. I'm not messing around with the bad cards here. Crop rotation's great. Talon Gates and Maze of Ith could be good. Caracas, Bojuka Bog, all could be great. Probably -1 diamond is okay. Endurance is my best card. Swords to Plowshares is fine. Teferi might be medium. And Prismatic Ending, unlikely to find a lot of targets. Alright, here we are. This is the plan. I hope they don't have a show and tell juke, because they basically have no plan for that at all. Okay, double Endurance and Bojuka Bog. I'm going to gate. My green mana is very slow, but Talon Gates can tap for green. I hope they don't have Cabal Therapy. Thoughtseize. Oh no. Don't look at it. It's too strong. We got a reaction in the chat. Yeah, my hand's pretty solid. I'm not going to lie. It was a positive reaction, like laughing. We're not an enraged one. It's not a rager. We don't have to go on Rage Patrol. Name and shame Rage Patrol. Alright, one of my endurances is gone. Knight of the Reliquary. I think I'm going to play Tundra and pass. It's too early to use this bog. They have shown me Faithless Looting is like a value thing. They might set up one thing and get ready for a future turn, like the anger. Alright. Yeah. This is not something that I am willing or able to interact with. Alright, they tucked their own Reanimate away. Want it back in the deck. Mox Diamond, pretty solid. The awkward thing about Bojuka Bog is it being in my hand means that Crop Rotation and Endurance can't get it. So I am just gonna tap out for Knight of the Reliquary right now. I wish this phased back in under my control. What if it was a flicker instead of that? Instead of phasing? What a time we would be having. Okay, Knight of the Reliquary, almost big enough to brawl with Endurance. I still have the other Endurance in my hand. If I Endurance myself, I can tuck the Bojuka Bog and then rotate into it with Knight. That's a line I have. Taking beats, hopefully for the last time. Fetchland would be insane here. Oh, Grafdigger's Cage. That's pretty insane too. Okay. Do I want to cast Light from the Loam? No, because I don't actually want Bojuka Bog in my hand. I could Crop Rotation and then cast Loam, but then I don't have Crop Rotation. What's the plan there? Oh, Knight of the Reliquary's Crop Rotation. That's the plan there. Okay. I'll play Grafdigger's Cage and pass the turn. Start closing out these loopholes. Endurance could not afford to attack. That is correct. Okay, so I'm going to float a white. Rotate into Fetchland. Fetch for Lush Portico. Misty Rainforest. I could also fetch for Basic Forest and do the Endurance target me thing. I don't think I actually need to do that yet, though. Alright, Lush Portico. Wasteland. Not helpful. Alright, I'll put that in the graveyard. Just make Knight bigger. Now I have the awkward anti-synergy of Life from the Loam plus Knight of the Reliquary. I have to decide how many lands, if any, I want to pick up here. Alright, Loam targeting. I would only have 2 mana left if I cast Loam here. How much faith do I put in Grafdigger's Cage, I guess is the question. No, this is okay, because I can pitch Crop Rotation to Endurance and then tap Knight. Oh yeah, we're fine. Alright, I would like back Wasteland, Misty Rainforest. That leaves Knight at 3/3, and I can fetch it to 4/4. Or it leaves Knight at 4/4, I can fetch to 5/5. Oh yeah, because the bog, I could have gone one deeper. Alright. Sloppy, but it works. Story of this league. And step in Tomb. Alright, do we have some sick value in Tomb? Anger, yep. The Suspicious Pivot is now going on. Still no action over there. I'm going to sacrifice Lush Portico and get... Am I just going to cast Endurance right now? Tucking away my whole business? I don't think I am. All right, I'm going to get Windswept Heath. I'm going to start beating with Knight. That's what I'm going to do. Fetch for Trop. Fetch for Savannah. And then go to my turn. Not Dredging Loam. Teferi, let's go. Get my Endurance back. Okay. Savannah. Blue, white. Teferi. Put my Endurance back in my hand. I am going to Dredge Loam on the draw because that gives me double Endurance, double green card. And Bash for 7. Okay. They are now dead in one turn, and I have Teferi double Endurance to stop whatever nonsense they might try to do. And Grafdigger's Gauge is still in play. I feel good. I feel good. We did it! GG's. Ooh, they were on a Witherbloom pivot. Yeah, I was just not ready for that. Yikes. Okay. We did it right at the very end. Positive record, beating Reanimator, and using Endurance for a big blowout. Got a lot of bounties here. And this deck was not really embarrassing. Of course, like, we are playing an off-meta Brew. I would not include Armageddon in my deck. I would not include Terravore in my deck. Terravore actually stacked up pretty poorly in almost all of the games. I cast it in one game just to unlock the bounty in a spot where Knight of the Reliquary was strictly better. But it did work. We were far enough ahead that it didn't matter what I cast. Could have been Trained Armadon, and we would have got it done. If I was reworking this deck to be more serious without just making it Green-White Depths or Maverick, like, this deck does have a unique identity in that space. It's not a Green Sun Zenith Toolbox deck. It is not a deck that's working towards a combo endgame. It is like it has the value aspects of Maverick with some of the lands toolbox, but not the combo of Green-White Depths. You could just say it's worse than both of those, but you could also say it has a unique identity in between. If I was gonna tune this up and play it and be more serious about it, probably 0 Armageddons, add more prismatic endings. You could turn your Terravores into... You could play more blue cards. It would take a lot to get cantrips and Force of Will into this deck, like, where that would take a whole rebuild. We're not doing that. But you could turn a Terravore or two into another tech land. There were games where Loam was in my graveyard and it just wasn't doing much. More cycle lands could give you a proper Loam package. You could fiddle with the colors, like maybe instead of blue for Teferi and Brazen Borrower, you go black, you get Discard, Nile Spellbomb, Dark Confidant, even, like, cool things to do with 2 mana because you're a Mox Diamond deck are worth considering. Lots of ways to tune this. But this is the league I ran with the stipulations. We unlocked many of the bounties. Quite happy with this performance all in all. Claire, thank you for this challenge. Everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon. I'll see you next time.